Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome. Michael here, Deeper States Mind and Wellness. I just want to say hello and welcome you to the show tonight. I want to talk a little bit about mantras, and some of you might know what mantras are, some of you might not. I think a lot of people do know what they are. A lot of people try to use them to kind of accomplish everything with the mindset, and I want to talk a little bit about that because one thing I found and what I've learned from a lot of people is that when mindset is set in place, people believe just do a mantra, and that's going to make the mindset follow into what it is that you want to happen for you. Kind of like the secret: visualize it, manifest it, put it in the universe. The universe will give it to you. So I want to talk a little bit about that because a lot of people think that's as easy as it is, and you'll have the ability to manifest anything you want. That's something I learned at a very, very young age, and some of you who've seen my shows know that. I manifested a car. I've manifested a lot of processes. I've manifested Deeper States Mind and Wellness. I manifested a podcast when podcasts weren't cool. But I want to talk about that because if you are using mantras only and you're hoping that the mantra is going to help you reach or attain your goals, a lot of times what happens is that you have to believe it in order for you to achieve it. And it has to be set in a base of reality. So think about this for a moment. I'm a neurolinguistic programmer, so I am about neurological triggers and how they affect our brain and how the brain affects our body, right? The physiological part of the changeover. When you think about it, your body runs chemical systems through your body, and you either feel happiness, you feel endorphins, you feel excited, you feel pleasure, you feel pain, right? But in order for that to happen, these chemicals in the brain have to start moving through the mind, move through the spinal cord, and go in through the body. People that do manifestation through mantra only are kind of stuck. They're short-sighting themselves. So when they say, "Oh, I want to manifest a new car," so they go through and they start putting that car on their vision board, or they just kind of put it on their mirror sometimes, and they say, "I am achieving this new car because I believe I can, and I will. Therefore, I am." So you can do the mantra over and over again. But the idea is that if you don't have an action to cause a reaction, you're going to get stuck in that mindset, right? So as a neurolinguistic programmer, I learned that physical actions cause more reactions in the physical body. So by saying that, uh, if you want pleasure zones to happen to you, right? When was the last time, I want to ask you, when was the last time that you remember going up to somebody and them high-fiving you for something you did? Even just the thought of somebody, close your eyes and visualize that. Going up and somebody's high-fiving you for something you did. Think about the last time that happened to you and put yourself in that mind state or that sensation and think about what that was like. When you get that feeling, that sensation, almost instantly, it means something, right? It means the idea that you've accomplished something or that you've achieved something. There was a study done not too long ago. I want to say it was in Harvard. I can't remember the school that did it, but they had three test groups. So one of them was a test group that was given rewards, a reward system. So when they did something, they gave them something small, right? The other one was when they did something that was good or they accomplished something that was a challenge, they would go in and appraise them and praise them and give them a certificate. The other one would give them a high five. So the interesting thing is, and I've been doing this for a long, long time, is that when you look in the mirror, you have to kind of visualize something and manifest it, right? I mean, the mantra is great. And I'm not saying mantras are horrible. I'm saying that you have to have an action for a reaction in that mantra. So what's interesting is that if you, in that study of the three test groups, who do you think it was that had the most success? So the person that got small little gifts, small accomplishment gifts, right? Eventually, they found that that just kind of fizzled out, and they no longer went after the gift. They were not. There wasn't enough of a driving force to go after the accomplishment. The other one, the group that had come together and had been getting the small little, small gifts or the certificate, both of those groups eventually fizzled out. What we found and what they found in that test group, and what I've been doing for a long, long time, is that physiological stimulation causes change that causes you to manifest and create what you want. So the whole process of thinking, oh, I want something, but how do I achieve it? I'm going to make this mantra. I'm going to say the mantra over and over again, 10,000 times. I'm going to use this mantra. Hey, Matt, welcome. How are you? I'm going to use the mantra over and over again, and let's see what happens. So if they use the mantra over and over again, they're not getting anywhere with it because there's no physiological action to cause a physiological reaction to get what you want, right? So the mantra is great. I think it's important because the mantra is going to get the mindset to happen. Once the mindset starts playing a role in your set, you're going to go after it physiologically. So you're going to start setting up and aligning the things you need to do in order to achieve. So what I found and what this test group found was that when you high five somebody, the endorphins run through your body and you begin to feel that excitement, that sensation. So go back and just think about what it was like the very first time you had a high five. Think about the last time you had a high five. Right away, it evokes emotion, right? In this clinical study, they found that because that was neurologically placed in the brain, it was now an anchor. People anchor to the process of if I do this, this is what happens. So if I do something and they give me a high five, that's my anchor, right? It already comes with a stimulation of emotions, of excitement, of happiness, of achievement. So what I have my clients a lot of times do, and this came from way back when I was overweight, I weighed 230 pounds. One day I woke up and I was looking in the mirror and I thought, the mirror wasn't looking back. And that was interesting because for so long the mirror never looked back. And then one day I caught it and I was like, oh my God, I kind of don't acknowledge that I'm fat. I don't acknowledge that I'm unhealthy. And that moment I decided I'm going to start doing something about my weight. And I kind of looked at myself and I imagined in my head somebody give me a high five and say, oh, hey, congratulations, you can do this. You are going to do this. You're going to release excess weight. You're going to be able to feel good and feel great. And what was interesting with that was that I incorporated that. And then, like maybe a week later, I was looking in the mirror, I looked at myself, and I had the same evoked feelings or emotions that I got when I had that high five, when I visualized that in my head. So what I started doing was visualizing the high five when I was on the treadmill, when I was working out, and I started getting the results. I started getting the weight release. So when I have a client that's feeling depressed or having anxiety and they're having trouble just getting out of bed, if they can get up in the morning and just take a shower, I have them get out of the shower and just visualize, close their eyes and visualize themselves giving themselves a high five for accomplishing that one step in their day. So the more that you can do that, the more you can create a physiological trigger, right? You're going to get more and more success. So imagine what it's like if you are trying to achieve a brand new car. The mantra could be, I want that red BMW and I know I'm worthy of it because I'm working harder and harder every day to achieve it. And that car will be mine. That is a perfect mantra. But now you need to have the physical attributes to it. So maybe let's say that you get in your car that you're driving now and it's okay, it gets you around, but it's not, it's old and it needs some work and that eventually it's getting ready to give out. You got in your car and you just kind of closed your eyes and felt yourself in that high five because you got that BMW now. You got that red BMW or that red Porsche or that red now Corvette, right? Because it's a nice car now too. So you visualize and you feel that sensation, what it's like when you're going to actually now achieve that sensation. Don't worry about the money because you're already doing that, right? You're working for the achievement. But physiologically, now you want to connect the emotion or the sensation or the physiological trigger into the neurological part of your brain. So now you're physically feeling it as well. That makes sense? So mantras do work, but they have to work in corporation with having something else attached to them. That something else is going to be that you're actually going to be working on creating a physiological trigger. And that's where hypnosis and NLP come into play. When you get a client into hypnosis, you create a neurological trigger. The trigger could be as simple as just bringing their two fingers together. So they're in trance, you have them just click their fingers together. And we do it remotely from Zoom as well. They go into visualization, you tell them, today we're going to anchor this finger. You anchor the finger towards the emotion that's the positive emotion that they want to achieve. That emotion is going to create sensations to their physiological body. The brain sees things in picture form 98% of the time. Then you add the visual, right? the picture form. They get to see that, they'll experience that. Then you add the physiological trigger. So now the connection is being drawn from the mindset into the physiological trigger, and we're stimulating or evoking a certain emotion or an expectation with pleasure zones. So now that anchor is going to connect and build in the pleasure zone to stimulate the mind and the body into achieving. So when I say that mantras don't work, they don't work by themselves. They do not work by themselves. You will find yourself 25 years from now standing in front of the mirror and saying, I am looking better and better every day in every way because I'm releasing excess fat. And then you go and you sit on the couch, you have your cup of coffee, and then you light up your Marlboro and you sit there smoking a cigarette, thinking about, oh, if I could just get up and do something, and you pop another Coke, and you're drinking your Coke and watching TV, and next thing you know, you're on the third hour of the Today Show. So you need to really cause the action for the reaction. And I've talked about this in the past. I mean, a lot of times people just don't put the action in front of what they want to do. It's interesting also because I have a lot of clients that will weave in and out of what they're trying to do. They'll come in, they'll say, "Yeah, I really want to do this. I really want to achieve these goals." And then they'll put their goal forward and they'll start to do a little bit of the achievement and then they'll drop themselves back into not achieving it. Self-defeat, right? Or I guess self holding yourself back from achieving what you really want. A lot of clients do that. You'd be really surprised how many people will not go forward to achieve their goals. And a lot of times they're scared. I mean, they're scared of making too much money. They're scared of buying a new house and taking on new debt. They're scared of selling their home and maybe moving down into a motor home so they can, start a new business. Um, Everything has a dynamic factor, and it's either positive or negative. The dynamic factor is either stimulus of pleasure or stimulus of pain. In NLP, neurological linguistic programming, we are connecting the anchors. So the anchor could be as simple as this. The anchor could be as simple as the high five, and it feels so good. And you lock into the high five, and you feel those emotions, those sensations build up in your body. You see, it's interesting because a lot of times what happens is that we have to anchor those feelings and emotions. Imagine what it's like trying to make those feelings, emotions that are negative, and you try to be positive when you haven't felt the positive part of that. And you haven't felt the positive part of that because it's not embedded in your neurology. You don't know what it's like to have success in something you've never succeeded at. You can visualize it, you can sense it. Then we can connect you into NLP, we can put you into hypnosis, right? Then we can go ahead and connect you with NLP into a trigger. So maybe you do this. Imagine if you're trying to lose weight and you rub your hand on your tummy and you feel your tummy and you feel it getting smaller and smaller. You begin to feel the abs beginning to show. If you want to bodybuilding, you're like, oh man, I've always wanted to bodybuild and I've always had a idea that I wanted to compete, but I never thought I could. Well, if you can get the feelings, sensations, emotions to click into that, you can trigger that into play. Now, the brain will tell the body what to do because it always does, right? They say that if the conscious and unconscious mind had a battle, the unconscious mind would win. It would go in and set the placement of what's happening. But you have to do one thing, you have to remove the cognitive filter, the part that is filtering your belief system. So if you already created a belief system that you can't succeed at something and you can't feel it, you can't visualize it, you can't put yourself in the emotion of success with it, you're going to never have success with it. So that's where hypnosis really comes into play is it gives you the ability to be able to remove that cognitive filter because we know there's a conscious, there's an unconscious mind. Once a cognitive filter can step aside, we can dialogue into the unconscious mind, get the conscious mind to float away, and then create neurological triggers, NLP triggers, or even mantras, but the mantra has to be an action related connection. So if you say, I'm releasing weight every day because I'm eating healthier and healthier, I love vegetables, they're cool, they're refreshing, they taste so good. That is enough to trigger you for that moment for you to remember that trigger. So when I was losing all my weight, I went to a NLP practitioner and we embedded in my head the thought of that nothing tastes as good as thin feels because I have a friend a friend of my roommates, actually my roommate's cousin, has somebody who is there they know who is a trainer, and the trainer was like, he said that phrase, nothing tastes as good as thin feels. And I went back to the NLP practitioner and I had them embed that in my unconscious desire. So what happened was every time I'd be feeling like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm struggling. Or, there was something that just looked so good. And I thought, oh my God, I want to have that. And I'd look at the menu twice. Occasionally now, because I'm on the intermittent fasting, I mean, I do treat myself, and we'll talk about that in our weight loss program. I mean, if you do our 8-week weight loss challenge, you'll hear me talk about treat yourself, don't deny yourself because you're fasting and it's okay. But we have to govern it, right? We have to slow it down. If the truck is coming down the mountainside at 195 miles an hour, and it should have a governor that slows it down to, let's say, 60 miles an hour, then we need to make the governor work, right? In order for that to happen, there has to be stops, there has to be braking mechanisms. So we get the braking mechanism set in place in the unconscious mind. So then for me, it was nothing tastes as good as thin feels. I would click into that and feel the emotion or sensation of like, you know what? I'm working so hard to get this to happen for me, and it feels good. It feels great, and that's going to happen naturally because once you're at the gym, the endorphins kick in, or once you lost those first 2 pounds, walking every day in your neighborhood, you're going to find that the endorphins kick in, and the brain starts to feel so good that you want more of that. The pleasure zone again. We're hitting the pleasure zone with the idea of you releasing weight and letting it go. So that's pretty cool, huh? It's an interesting process and it works very, very well. But I just want to kind of bring that in. I'm probably going to go about 20 minutes on this live today, not too long, because I just think it's something that we really need to keep in the back of our head when we're doing our weight loss programs, we're doing our manifestation, our achievements. Um, Mantra's great, and I'm not trying to bash on it because I know that all my cohorts who are in the big metaphysical realm are, just say a mantra and it comes to you. And I think if you're lucky, it does. I mean, if you have enough empowerment to be able to say, okay, I just want a mantra, and you don't really know the dynamics of what's happening inside the mantra and inside the manifestation, inside the brain, then the physiological body might just click in and make it happen because maybe you connected to eating a salad, and when you picked up the fork was ice cold, and it connected some kind of a trigger, and then you remembered that trigger. Now you're relying on the fork to be ice cold, but the moment you touch it, it builds in this emotion, this sensation. So if you can get those triggers to start happening on a forced basis or expected basis that your unconscious mind is going to start doing, you'll start to have success with that. So anyway, I will let you know more about the weight loss challenge program. I think they're running ads now. So what I will do is next Thursday I will put a link on here for any of you who want to join us. We'll give you a 10% discount because you're coming from Facebook. We're on Facebook and YouTube and another Facebook account. I'm not sure what the other Facebook account is because I didn't set this stream up, but we will find that out next week, and I will make sure you guys have access to that link for the 10% discount. All right. Appreciate all of you. Have a great weekend. Stay busy, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll talk soon. Have a great night, and I wish everybody the best on the weekend. And we will see you next Thursday. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to call our office 562 426 6884. That's a direct line to my desk. And then also, if you'd like to come in and do a 30-minute consultation. We do have a complimentary consultation for you guys. Anybody who wants to come in who's never done hypnotherapy, we can consult and we can figure out if I can help you, what your triggers are, where you're at, why you're stuck, how long you've been stuck, what's been going on. And I can't promise I can help everyone because some of you I will not take as a client if I can't assist you and I can't make things better for you. That's my whole goal, is to make sure that what I do for you is making your life a little bit better and helping you achieve a little bit more. All right, so thank you guys so much, and I appreciate everybody. Have a great night, and those of you who are watching the replay, hey, check us out. It's every Thursday here, Thirsty Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and the Deeper States Mind and Wellness page, the YouTube page, and my personal Michael Almaraz page. All right, you guys take care. Have a great night, and I wish you all the best.
I think these videos are brilliant. comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell.